This bathroom needed a makeover, and it was supposed to be a simple project, and I thought that 2 to 3 days would be enough to finish this project. Yeah, that did not happen. See, the problem is that I always think these projects are simpler than they are, or that they will go smoothly, but they never do. And to make this more challenging, I'm planning to do this renovation on a really tight budget. So I googled what the average bathroom remodel in the US is, and apparently it's an average of $12,000. But I only plan to spend $500. Yeah, let's see if I can stay on budget. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany, and I like to take projects that are out of my comfort zone, so join me while I make over this bathroom or lose my mind trying. So this is the guest bathroom, and I picked to redo this room specifically because I thought it would be easy. But to my surprise, I had my work cut out for me. I just didn't know it yet. I then decided to remove all the hardware from the walls since one of the things I'll be doing is painting. But with that being said, I'm gonna have to do some drywall repairs. Because I will be doing this in a budget, I won't be changing the mirror, but I will be building a new frame for it. And I was trying to be careful since I might use it as a template. Okay, you see that strip in the wall behind me? I hate those strips. I'm gonna put shelves over here, and on this side over here, I'm gonna have a picture hanging. So it's kind of in the way, and I think it'll look weird if I put anything against the wall with a strip there. So I'm gonna take it out, and I'm gonna cover the seam with actual like drywall mud and try to make it as smooth as possible. Not only I'm trying to do this in a budget, but I'm trying to do this in just a few days because the last project took forever to finish, which was the laundry room. So I'm trying to give myself a short project this time, but I'm nervous about the drywall mud because I'm not really good at it, and I end up having to do multiple coats over several days to make the drywall look smooth. And I'm afraid that this is what's going to delay this project the most. And so are these nails, which took forever to take them out until I remember that I had a tool to take them out. Another thing that is not doing this bathroom any favors are these lights. They're just a little outdated, and I'm going to change them out for something a little bit more modern. Okay. So it looks like I'm gonna have to do some drywall repair just because there's anchors that they drill into the wall for the light fixture. So I have quite a bit of drywall repair. That one probably, and over there, and that whole strip. So got my work cut out for me. It's not that bad, it's just that it takes time to dry, so I'm afraid that that's just gonna put me behind. I noticed that the old lights were off-center from the vanity, so I was marking where the center was so that I can mount them correctly. That's how far off the center that was. Oh, this is stud right there. That's why it's off-center. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna have to mount it off center. So I don't plan on changing the floor because it's in good condition, plus not in the budget and like a lot more work to change the floors. So I'm gonna leave the floors, but the baseboard is damaged over here because when they built this house, they use MDF baseboards, which is stupid. Don't ever use MDF baseboards. If water hits it, it falls up. It's like, it's terrible, so it's damaged. So I'm gonna put new baseboards, take these out, but I'm gonna leave the floor the way it is.
The drywall, I'm gonna be using Easy Sand. So this thing pretty much cures in 5 minutes. It really cures in 5 minutes. So I have to work fast, but I like it because it dries quicker. It still takes a while to dry if you do like really thick coats, but I do like that because it dries, it cures in 5 minutes. If you have to do a second coat, it's a little bit more forgiving. You can do it right on top of it. I'm gonna try this to patch everything that I gotta patch.
The joint compound mix should be smooth and creamy, kind of like pancake batter. I then apply the first layer of drywall compound, but because there's a seam there, I put drywall mesh on top, and this will avoid the drywall cracking in the future. I then put more drywall compound on top. And this was the beginning of many coats of drywall mud. The good thing about the 5-minute drying compound is that it forces me to work quickly, and I feel like I'm getting some practice. But it almost dries too quickly, so I think next time I'm going to get one that gives me a little bit more working time, because then I can probably do a better job in less coats. So I just noticed that the toilet's leaking. It might have been my fault because I'm working on that area. I'm sanding the edges of the wall so I can like do more coats, and there's a puddle, like a little puddle on the floor. So I'm gonna tighten it and see if that fixes it. Hopefully that fixes it, and it's simple because I don't want to mess with this toilet at all. Okay, we'll see if that fixes it. There's a nut right there and it was like loose, like I could touch it with my hands and it was like super loose. Hopefully that fixes it and I don't have to deal with it. I continued to do more layers of drywall mud, and when I thought that this would be the part of the project that would delay me the most, it wasn't. This was just the beginning.
I am done for tonight. I did not expect this to take me most of the day. And I lost count how many coats of drywall mud I've done, but it's been quite a few. But I just want to make it look smooth, you know, I just don't want it to be noticeable that there's a seam there. Tomorrow, I might have like a couple touch-ups to do before I can paint. But then after that, I should be good to move forward.
Are you pooping?
No, I'm recording.
Oh.
I'm gonna be talking.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I saw your shoes and it looked like you were sitting on the toilets.
I am sitting on the toilet. I got a little impatient with how long the sanding and the drywall was taking, so I got my electric sander out. I'm like, oh, this would go quicker. And I didn't want to do that before because I knew like it would be really dusty, but I'm like, oh, maybe it's not so bad. It's like a small space, it's very quick. It was bad. It was pretty bad. Look at my hair. My hair isn't this white. I mean, I do have a few white hairs, but not this many. This is all drywall. Look, they're my eyelashes, my eyebrows. I don't know why I thought this would be a good idea. I just got impatient and this is what happens. Just made it worse. Oh my god, you gotta be kidding me. I tilted the pan too much and a big blob of drywall just fell on the floor, so I gotta clean that up. I'm finally done with the drywall. And when I said yesterday that I just had a few touch-ups to do, no, because it's daylight, I could see a lot better in here and there was a lot of imperfections and I wasn't happy with it, so I fixed it, but I run out of drywall mud. So I went to the store and I got the 20-second Easy Sand instead of the 5-minute one. I mean, not 20 seconds, 20-minute drying mud instead of the 5 minutes, which is what I should have done from the beginning because the 20-minute would have given me more time to maybe work it a little bit better. The 5 minutes dry so fast, but I got it done. It took me half a day. I want to prime the parts where I put drywall mud, so just that part I'm going to prime and then I can go ahead and paint everything. Oy. Ouch, ouch. Okay. Oh, this is a mess in here. I first have to clean this mess. Oh my god. You might be thinking that I just lost my mind because I'm literally vacuuming the walls. But may I remind you that the dust went everywhere. I'm prepping for paint by covering everything with plastic and a drop cloth because even though I'm rolling it, the paint still splatters a little bit everywhere. I primed the areas where I did the drywall repair to avoid the paint peeling in the future, but I decided not to prime the rest of the room since it's already painted. The color I went with is Timeless White. Is that it? Yes. I wanted this room to be lighter. It's so small in here that a dark color can make the room look smaller. So I wanted a very bright color, so it's kind of like an off-white color. Even though I'm doing this makeover in just a few days, I did take some time to plan it ahead of time. And I put together a mood board that kind of like let me visually see how everything is gonna go together.
Look at it. Just like that. One little wall with the window, like it looks so much better. All right, now to do the rest.
Oof. I'm done with the first coat, and I'm done for tonight. I am beat, so I'm gonna pick this back up tomorrow. It has to dry anyway, so I'm gonna do the second coat tomorrow, and then I'm gonna start tackling that cabinet. I'm gonna paint the cabinet, so I have to sand it down, paint it, and do that. But other than that, what do you think? It's a lot brighter in here. It also looks like very plain and boring, so I know, like everything's the same color now, but final touches, like the shelves that are gonna go above the toilet, the mirror, like there's gonna be a lot of decorative things in the bathroom that are gonna make it pop. So the walls being like white and just like kind of blending in with everything else, it's just kind of to give that white canvas for everything else to pop. So I can't wait, but I need to get some sleep first. So I'll see you tomorrow. The color looks so good. Now that I can see it in the daylight, it looks so nice in here. It still needs a second coat, but it dried up pretty well. The paint I'm using is actually a one coat paint, but I never trust that. It's usually a few spots where it doesn't cover really well, so I always do 2 coats. I'm so excited. Paint's all done, and I have to say I love the drywall work. It came out the way I wanted it. Took me forever. It's smooth. You can't tell that there was a seam, you know, in there. So I'm very, very happy with it. And this is not gray hair. That's paint. Paint. So now I'm gonna go ahead and tackle this vanity over here. I'm gonna sand it and paint it. I want to spray the door so that it's smooth, but I don't want to spray paint in here just because of the prep process. I will literally have to cover everything, put in the walls. Maybe I should have done that before the walls, and then I could have sprayed over here. Didn't think of it. So I'm just gonna try to make these parts look as smooth as possible. We'll see how that comes out. The countertop, I think I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to take the countertop off because I'm doing this in a budget. And this is a weird size countertop, it's like 27 inches. And I couldn't really find anything pre-made that was lower price. Part of when I put my plan together on all the decor and the colors and everything, I kept in consideration the color of the countertop to make sure that, you know, it will still go with everything. But anyways, let's get started. gonna take these strips out and reattach them because I think it'll make it easier to paint.
So I'm gonna clean this with crook cutter to get all of the dirt out, clean it really well. And then I'm gonna sand it. And I have this like pad sander things that I'm gonna try because these edges here are all curved. So I wanna make sure I sand everything. This door is not wood, it's actually MDF. So it's like a wrap door. So I have to sand it and then I have to use a bonding primer. I'm gonna use bin primer to make sure that the primer sticks to it. It's hard for any paint to stick to it. So I'm gonna make sure to prime it before I paint it. I'm gonna sand this with a power sander, even though last time I used the power sander in here, what I'm gonna do first, I don't think it's gonna be that dusty like the drywall does, which is very fine and it just goes everywhere. Two, I'm gonna take like a really like wet napkin, like it's soaked. So I'm gonna pass it so that way that it's wet, so the dust doesn't it doesn't spread out as much, basically. I was gonna hand sand it, but because this is like laminated stuff, like I really want to make sure that I get a good sanding on it because it's very important that the primer sticks to this, otherwise it'll peel off eventually, so I don't want that to happen.
Isn't that an interesting color? Like I sanded it, it just turned yellow. I wonder what kind of material it is, if it's like some kind of plastic or why does it do that? When I feel it like all the way down here where it's exposed, it actually feels like MDF. So that's why I was pretty sure this is like some sort of wrap material or is laminated or whatever, but it turns yellow. The doors didn't do that, but this yellow, so I don't know. Since I didn't want to spray the inside of the bathroom, I used a foam brush to paint the edges and a foam roller to prime the rest of the cabinet. I almost forgot the toe pick. Usually the primer leaves a rough surface, so I sanded it with 320 grit to make it smooth before I painted it. I'm gonna be using a pneumatic sprayer. I don't really like using this with regular paint. They're not meant to use regular paint because they don't have enough pressure, but I'm kind of lazy sometimes and I don't want to get my big sprayer out because it just takes so much more to clean, and I only have a quart of paint, so even though it's giving me trouble before, I can still get a smooth finish out of it. But if you don't have any kind of sprayer, you can use a foam roller just like I did inside. That also gives a smooth finish. I just got done putting everything away outside. I got that door done before it got dark. It's about 8 o'clock right now, and all I have to do is this cabinet right here. I have to paint this cabinet. I mean, I have a lot more to do, but all I'm doing today is painting this cabinet. And then tomorrow, I'll go ahead and do the second coat on the cabinet and the door. I'm so excited to finally see some green on this cabinet. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like white. Most of my laundry cabinets are white. But for this bathroom, for this space, I just really like this color. And I wanted to try it. I have a problem. After I got done painting this, and I'm staring at it, I absolutely hate the countertop. I thought I could live with it. I have never liked this countertop, by the way, and unfortunately this is all the countertops that are throughout my house. It's in the master bathroom and it's in the kitchen. They all look like this. They're ugly. And because of budget and time, I decided that I was not going to do the countertop because I don't want to turn this into a major project. But I think that now that I painted the cabinet and it looks nice, like this nice green, I feel like now this sticks out. And not in a good way. We'll see what I come up with. I'm gonna sleep on this and see what I come up with. The next day, I made up my mind and I decided that I will change the countertop.
Oh.
I mentioned that I had a $500 budget and so far I spent $141. Since the countertop size is not an easy one to find and everything I found was pricey, I decided to make it from scratch. It was the only way to stay on track with my budget and I was able to make it out of one board, spending only $9 to make the countertop. But it was no easy task and the most time-consuming part of this project. So I'll see you next week showing you how I did it.